were deceived. Were us. And he said to Adam and Eve, oh, so the Lord said that you can eat of this beautiful, delicious fruit. God's laws are restricting. They are not good for you. For he knows that the day you eat of this fruit, you will be like gods. Your eyes will be open. And he continues writing. But then again, in the midst of this trial, of this difficulty, of this conflict between evil, good and evil, Jesus Christ comes in the darkest hour of the history of this world. God himself becomes a man and walks in the streets of Jerusalem and teaches how to live, and then he goes all the way to the cross to buy us because we were lost. That is part of the story. You know, back in the days of the World War II, one of the most dramatic moments that helped turn the tide of the war depended upon a dead Englishman who never came near the battlefront. His name was William Martin. And he lies buried in one town called Huelva in the southern coast of Spain. It happened during summer 1943. The Allies just finished destroying the German Africa Corps under Rommel. The next logical step was to take Sicily, as the Allies planned their bloody march through North Italy and then into southern Germany. So the Allies decided, we're going to come up with a special plan and we're going to confuse the Germans. And so one of these master spy plans was developed. It was named mincemeat. Since everyone knew, even the Germans, that the next step was to attack Sicily, then they decided, General Martin has died of pneumonia, but we're going to put him in ice so that he can be preserved. We're going to develop this special plan and we're going to send him on a raft. And they did. After all the backup trails was in place through England, the body of Major Martin was loaded into a submarine which later surfaced on a dark night of the coast of Spain. Martin was then placed in a rubber raft, his pocket filled with secret documents, which indicated that the Allies were going to strike next in Greece and Sardinia, not Sicily. But this was a dangerous plan, because they didn't know if the Germans were going to take that as at face value and believe it. But they did it anyways. So the German commanders, high commanders, found this body. They went through all the documents and they said, it is true. It is a genuine document. Therefore, we're going to go to Greece and Sardinia and we're going to fight the battle over there. And that's what they did. In the meantime, the Allies were fighting in Sicily with the intentions of going north to southern Germany. And that's basically what changed the history. Now we know the Lord used this plan to keep his promise, his prophecies. But you know, when we call that strategy a decoy, thank you very much, causing the enemy to fight where the battle is not. And you know, Satan is an expert at doing that. Let us read it in the Bible. This is one of those verses that I quoted at the beginning. But let's open it again. Revelation 7, verses 1 through 3. Just before the seventh seal is opened, John says that there are 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding the four winds of earth, and that the wind should not blow on earth, on the sea, or on any trees. Then I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was granted to harm the earth and the sea, saying, do not harm the sea or the trees till we what? Seal. So something is happening right now. And somehow part of the people are sleeping until we seal the servants of our God on their foreheads. The servants of the Lord is not whatever person, is not any person, is the servants of the Lord. What on earth could John be describing here? What is he speaking about? What is this business of holding the winds of nuclear war, of the 7 plagues, of the difficulties that we see and read and foresee in the newspapers when we read them? What is he speaking about? Is it possible that God's people have an assignment to accomplish before he comes back? And by the way, what will identify God's people in these last days? What about Sabbath keeping? Health reforming? Tithe payer? Is that it? Well, yes and no. After all, Sabbath keeping, health reform, tithe payers once crucified God, Jesus Christ. John tells us that God's people will have the Father's name written on their foreheads. They will be sealed with this approval. You know, many products cannot be sold without that seal of approval. For some people, for example, if it is not Apple, Macintosh, there's no computer. Other people say, I want to see the seal of Intel. If it is not Intel, I won't buy it. And those people who are looking for good quality products will buy the famous magazine. What is it called? Consumers Report. They want to see what used car is the best car to buy, because the seal, the signature of that product tells me it is a good product. Is it possible that John is speaking about good quality products? With one qualification: servants of the Lord. What does that mean? It means that the product carries the endorsement of someone who cares about quality, someone who can be trusted. Remember that TV ad that says the quality goes in before the name goes on? I like it. Especially if I take it out of that context and put it right in the midst of my sermon. Because the work of the sealing of God's people says the quality goes in before the name goes on. Down here in the days of the health winds, that is what God is telling the universe when He writes His name in the forehead of the faithful. Listen to them. He is saying, you can trust these people because I approve them. I approve them with the seal of the living God, and He's the one who is speaking. The quality goes in before the name goes on. In the 12th chapter of Revelation, John gave us Satan's game plan with special precision. His strategy. We already have the secret, and it is broken. So the mystery can become a revelation for us.